All right, we're here with Darrel Springer from Edgar, Nebraska. Um, anyway, we're out here and we're going to ask a few questions on StripTill and the Montag system. Basically, Darrel, why did you decide to start strip tilling?
I wanted to utilize my fertilizer better, and we have nitrate issues in this part of the country, and I want to protect it for future generations. So we started stripping variable rate in our fertilizer with the Montags.
Sure. What was your before StripTill? What was your program? That you...
We were ridge planting mostly with anhydrous, and making beaver huts all over, and just wasn't working very good.
So with ridge till, strip till, are you one thing I noticed, you're basically planting on the same strip every year. You don't move it over that 15 inches.
No, we never move over.
What benefit have you seen from doing it that?
Well, the soil texture and structure, in between the compacted areas is just phenomenal. I mean, they come out and do soil tests and it'll just sink. I mean, you can push a post in for a foot, no resistance.
Right.
So we're really getting a good read on the soil there,
So this year in Nebraska, everywhere, pretty much the whole Midwest, out to the whole Midwest had issues with water. How did your strip till program assist or facilitate your planting this year? Because apparently it was in a really tight window.
Yeah, it was the most challenging I've had of 42 years. It was horrible. And guys were asking if I was going to continue to do it. But we left the depth the same because we put on anhydrous below the dry. And we just waited till the conditions, a week or two after everybody else started, and it worked out for us. It wasn't a problem at all. You can see by the stand. I'm pretty tickled with what's going on here, because I ridge it, before I run the strip till, so we were up off the water and we're not in that compacted zone full of mush. And I'm pretty happy here, actually.
Right. Looks really good.
Yeah.
Now you have kind of a unique program you're on. You run a Hillier with your Orthman one tripper.
Yeah.
Maybe kind of explain how.
Well, we run the one tripper before we plant.
Okay.
And
this is all in the spring.
Yeah, all in the spring. We do it, pre-plant. And I like to do it, as quickly as I could, as the frost comes out and we could get in there. But anyway, we run a row chopper on it because we're on ridges to kind of clean that root ball out of the road. Right. And then we strip it with dry fertilizer, our MAP and our phosphate and stuff, and strip that, and then we plant right on top of that, when we get in there. And it's just, planter boxes are running so smooth, they're just nice seed bed. And what I like is everything's utilized in that same zone. All the fertilizers there every year the same place. And my agronomist is like, we're cutting back on our MAP and our fertilizer rates, It's really helping our nitrates.
You want to explain your equipment? So you run what, 2 Montags?
Yep.
And then. Okay.
Yep. We run 2 Montags. We put them on our strip machines, pre-plant, and then we take them off of there and put them on our ridgers or our hillers. And this is where we're doing our last pass of variable rate. We're putting 120 pounds of urea on variable rate right now, and like to get in there last pass we can, because corn doesn't take a lot of fertilizer to get through the vegetative state. We're working towards want to get it on there when we're putting that old ear on, And what I like about it too is our ear height are just constant on our stalks. I think that's a lot to do with placement of potassium and phosphate and everything. It's just amazing how them ears are all the same height.
So maybe you want to explain to you a little bit, the accuracy and your technology that you run as far as variable rate.
Right. Well, we use John Deere 2630s, and they're on RTK, so we're sub-inch. And like we just did, the last 2,400 acres we did, we're within 7 pounds an acre of what we shot for on 2,400 acres. So I'd say the accuracy of a Montag is phenomenal. You look at the price of that fertilizer and.
and you run the Generation 1, which is a single product meter,
I am.
9-ton, 12 row, right?
Yep. 9-ton. Yep. And it just, we did a lot of research before we did this, and we're pretty happy. Joseph, all these guys, Lewis, we've been together for a few years, and I'm just kind of rejuvenated, my end of my career here, and I'm just the technology. My son-in-law does all the prescriptions, and I just love the placement, the accuracy, there's not any service. We haven't had any trouble with them.
One thing, you have probably a lot of operators, guys, that, hired hands come and go? How is the, for them to come in and start running the machine? Is that
Like
a pretty simple process?
Yeah, this kid that just pulled out of the field, he'd never been involved in it, and I was a little nervous. He's smart anyway, but it's just phenomenal. Like I was telling you, we run 96 hours in a row there for a while, and everything's automatic, and you're stressed and tired, but not near as you would be if you weren't doing all this.
The one thing I want to talk about too, return on investment. What have you
boy.
seen as far as the payback from the base of the Montag and
Yeah.
all your equipment for?
I don't have a percentage, but I know what the in rates are to raise a bushel or 56 pounds of corn, and we're far below that. I know for a fact that one time last year we had fields, actually not last year, year before, we're over 300 bushel an acre, and we were growing that at 6/10 of a pound instead of 1.2 per.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what, 40% basically.
Right. Oh, what was I gonna say? Lost my train of thought.
That's really good.
Well, think about it. You throw that, especially potash or phosphate and sulfur all over the ground. We're putting it all right there. And, it's hard to fathom in your head that a bushel needs so much, but it's not using that because that doesn't move, that product is right here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And I've saved $120,000 a year at times here by lowering my phosphate rate and my fertilizer rate, the price of product nowadays, and going with also variable rate.
Okay.
Seriously.
So I see. Looks like you have. I guess I would call it sandy loam here. Is that pretty accurate?
This is a little bit down here, not bad on this, but majority of our farm, 90% of them are Hastings silt loam in Clay County. And the structure, the texture is fun to work with anyway. But I've had some farms that are challenging, and once you're on this same row with that Montag and that Orthman for several years, they're not challenging. It's so mellow in there. We can't spray down the row. We have to spray at a 90-degree angle because the sprayers will follow in that soft mellow spot we have in that ridge all the time.
Yeah. So you answered my second question. How the differences you saw in your soil change over the years.
Well, you take a rod and try to push between the ground where we've had our same wheel pattern for years and push in right here, and you'll know the difference. It's phenomenal. Yeah, it's got to be good for the root and the corn plant to go.
So dealing with Montag, just StripTill is always going to be a learning curve for most everybody that gets into it. What's been your experience as far as the support with Montag and the equipment, as far as helping you through the initial start of the process?
I haven't had an issue. These guys are great. I love going over there, picking up my equipment and talking to Joseph and his dad. Oh my gosh, I can learn so much from that guy. He is like an encyclopedia. And I thought I knew some stuff farming 42 years, but oh wow. How long did it take me to get out of your shop last time I was over there?
That was a couple hours.
Seriously, 2 hours. I picked up so much about percentages that I need to have a phosphate, in the load, and it's just wonderful working with them. The service, everybody knows that's lacking in nowadays in the country, and it's not lacking at Montag, I'll tell you that.
So basically your goal, from our conversation, it seems like your goal is basically to raise up your averages. So it's not necessarily make the good better, bring the poor averages up, so they all kind of equal, and that kind of, you see the profit there as far as your yield.
Yeah, that's working. I think at times the poor ground, we're not getting the yield out of it, but we're lowering our input costs. I don't know if we can ever produce 300 bushel, whatever on some of that ground, but it's close. Because when we go through fields now, the average is just phenomenal that they're all the same. They're a little bit, we don't have much poor ground on that Hastings silt loam, but you're just surprised. Look at our yield maps. They're just almost solid, the same. Just surprising.
And how long did it take to get there? Is that from?
Well, 2 years. It didn't take long, a couple years even. Because we'd been ridge planting anyway. I really like staying out of that compacted row, but it didn't take long to get to that point. My goal now is to see how far we can get them costs down on fertilizer and MAPs and still maintain, I don't want to grow X amount of bushel of corn and break the bank doing it. I want to see what my lowest cost is for my best yield, You're not going to, have the top yield all the time because it costs you too much to get to that point. But boy, you bring them averages up. I mean, take a look.
So you're pretty much strictly corn on corn,
Yep.
and how many acres do you approximately run?
We're running these rigs over 3,000 acres now. Yep.
Per season. That's twice, correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Twice a season. Yep. StripTill and then, yep. And then hill them and.
So you're getting.
So we're utilizing the
you-
Montag system.
it doesn't sit idle very long.
No, it doesn't, and it's not hard to move them. I mean, we've got hitches.
That's good.
Yeah.
So the upkeep, any issues with hose wearing out, parts
we
breaking down?
we haven't. We had a couple issues I told you, earlier with all I got to do is adjust one of those little rods. We're
Well,
the
down
some
tube for
the down tube on the StripTill flattens out to get it down there, but it just needs cut out in the back. And that was only this year. I think some of that was left in our machine from last year. It didn't get cleaned out properly, maybe, but we have no issues. If you have an issue, you're going to tell it because every row is getting the same amount, and you don't see yellow rows and yellow strips like when you.
No, it looks like a nice garden.
Well, we're taking care of every 4 acres, and it's pretty exciting for an old guy to get this technology, and it works good. Hand in hand with Landmark, they're involved, and any problem, here they are. And
Right. That's good.
and per se, I don't think I've called Montag for 2 years. You probably forgot my name, Joseph. I mean, we just don't have any issue with him.
Well, Darrel, it's been a pleasure to be out here today.
Yeah, thanks,
We
Lewis.
appreciate coming out and visiting a
Yeah,
little bit about
thank
the
you.
process because it's kind of unique. We don't, it's kind of different what most guys are doing. So it's glad to talk
Well,
about
I'm
that.
kind of different. So.
Yeah. No, we got to be different. Why be the same?
Well, if you're not moving forward, somebody's catching you or
Right,
passing you,
exactly.
man.
So